Nah, you're wrong. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the AWE podcast. This is Hollywood Mate Connolly with the double biceps. It is in the contract a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. It is good to be back here with everyone. The man to my left, but to your right, it is in fact the master of disaster, the king of sting, the count of Monte Cristo, the co-pilot, the co-founder, co-breather of air. It is none other than the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year award. And there it is there, the illustrious award held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard, the illustrious trophy. Welcome to your own show. Welcome back to the show. It is 2024 now.
2024. So much happened towards the end of 2023 that we haven't yet covered off on, but we certainly will get into the details of AWE T-Series 1. And of course, T-Series 2 is well into the planning and due to take place in Australia Day in Queensland, the 26th of January, for those people that are watching from overseas. So a lot's been happening here in the world of AWE.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we had a little bit of a break over Christmas, but we did have AWE T-Series 1. Just prior to that, we had a super match between Ryan Bowen. I was going to say Ryan Blue Bowen, but he's not Ryan Blue Bowen anymore.
He's dropped the blue.
Yeah, that's right. It's
blue. No more blue new for 2024.
It's not Ryan Bowen either.
No, it's not.
So yes, Ryan Bowen. He took on Gunter Mykovs for the heavyweight title. And what a match that was.
That was a great match.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. But yes, AWE T-Series 2 will be taking place in Queensland. We're just locking in the venue still. So once we have the venue secured, then we'll be able to announce that. But it will be on Australia Day in Queensland.
And we want to congratulate the winner, of course, of AWE T-Series 1, Lachlan Carpenter. So Lachlan's featured at AWE 1 and 2 and was back for T-Series 1. The lure of prize money on the line was enough to attract Lachlan Carpenter and Brett Coots over from Victoria. Yeah. And it was great to see Brett Coots back on the table and being very, very competitive after injury and just a little bit of time away from the sport. So an exciting 2024 to be expected from both of those athletes.
Absolutely. It was incredible to have them come over and compete. I know the guys were very excited here in South Australia to have the quality of athletes, as Brett Coots and Lachlan Carpenter. When we said they're coming over, everyone was like, oh, I guess they're going to win then.
Yeah. Well, and for those that maybe aren't familiar, Lachlan Carpenter was the Australian overall heavyweight champion. So held that title, and Brett Coots is one of the OGs of the arm wrestling scene here in Australia, and now in his mid 40s, I think, just turned 45.
He's turned 27 in his 40s.
45, 47.
I'm not sure, but he's looking fantastic.
But isn't he? He's a specimen. He just looks absolutely like his best years are still very much ahead of him. And he seems to have got this newfound desire to train hard and to dedicate himself to the sport once again.
Absolutely.
Which is super exciting for arm wrestling fans here in Australia. I know he's already attracting the eye of some of the big promoters of the arm wrestling world.
Yeah, for all the wrong reasons.
Well, good to see that certain people in Turkey are watching.
Yeah, so, that's right. Yes, that's right. Paying attention, very close attention to what happens at the AWE. But no, Brett Coots took out the left hand overall, and we were able to hand him his prize money of $500. And then Lachlan Carpenter obviously took out the right arm as well. He took on Brett in the final, but Brett had an injury just prior to that match, so he unfortunately couldn't give it his all in the final. But yes, he is a left-handed specialist, and although he's right, he's very formidable as well, as obviously shown. He drove through the tournament all the way up to the grand final. Unfortunately, got I think it was a chest injury just prior to the grand final match. But when I was refereeing, and
I noticed,
when I was a little bit intimidated, to be honest, because I've done a lot of refereeing, a lot of super matches, but it's been with our guys, people I know, and it's I'm making jokes, I'm being silly the whole time. Most of the time.
Completely unprofessional.
Absolutely.
Is what you're saying.
100%. And whipping people with the strap accidentally, and the usual stuff.
Yeah, shenanigans.
Right. Yeah. I can't do that with these guys.
No.
And they're massive.
Yes.
And they expect to like that it's going to be done really professionally.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
They came to the wrong place. Didn't
They did. Well, I did what I
you did a
knew.
great job, man.
Thank
You did a great job.
But lining them up together, like I could feel the power like in their forearms, and it felt like two cars that were going to drive off in opposite directions. It was like, because I was holding their wrists, to try to get everything, and I was like, oh my god, these guys just like strong. And this is the setup. I'm like, I just need you to move a little bit that way, and I'm like, just move, and oh man, so
wow. So great experience for you.
It was good. Yeah, I was just, overall the whole thing, and you would have felt this as well, I'm guessing, that you just want everything to work and everything to go smoothly throughout the day, which it did, and it ran really well. We had some issues with cameras in the morning, but we solved that and figured that out.
There's always something on the day. And so for those people that aren't familiar, AWE T Series is our tournament series, and there's been at our first and we'll be at our second also some super matches happening at the end of the tournament series. So there's some on at T Series 1, the big super match was for the AWE Intercontinental and heavyweight titles. So we were going to see the unification of the belt regardless, because Ryan Bowen picked up that Intercontinental belt when he took on Mazahir Saidu. We reissued the belt and made it an international level belt and title. And Ryan and yourself flew over to Delhi for that match, and very, very closely fought, and a fantastic match. And for those that haven't seen it already, head over to AWE Underground, the YouTube channel, and that match is up there. I think 40,000+ views already. So just a matchup which had an amazing amount of drama built into it. So we'll get into that as well. And so as a result of that, Ryan came back victorious with the AWE Intercontinental belt across his shoulder, and straight away wanted to test himself against Gunter Bykov, who has really was an intimidating figure in Ryan's mind, and that mountain that had not yet been climbed. And as Ryan explained in his victory speech, that he always felt that Gunter's was one of those guys that was going to be unobtainable. Didn't matter how much he trained and how much work he put in. He always felt like he was never going to get to that standard. And so for Ryan, that was a real coming of age and conquering that massive entity in his mind that he felt was going to be just somebody who he put up on a pedestal so much that he just felt like it was going to be insurmountable. So I think psychologically for Ryan to be able to conquer that was absolutely amazing, and a great match to watch as well, which you can also see on the AWE Underground channel.
That's right, absolutely. Yeah, what an amazing match. And Gunter Bykov, as we've said many times, an absolute legend in the arm wrestling world, and especially here in Australia. And although he likes to downplay his achievements, he is a phenomenal arm wrestler, and he's a formidable figure. If you're ever going to go up against him, it's like, this is one of the best guys you're going to face. So for Ryan, to be able to go up against him, I know he was a little bit nervous. He didn't say anything about it, but you could see it was like, this is the guy that when I started was the guy. And it just felt like a god. Like there was no way you could ever reach this level. And now here I am 10 years later, and I'm trying to beat him in a super match. And to be able to do it, it was absolutely amazing to see. And there was a funny moment that I picked up on after the second round. I think it was after the second round. Ryan got a pin fairly comfortably. So after the go, he got control and he rolled through and he got the pin without, it being a war or anything. And Gunter said, "Oh, well done, mate." And Gunter just walked around, and you see Ryan there like, You could see this look on his face like, I don't want to be happy yet, but I think I've got this. You know, I think I can win this match, but I don't want to get too excited. But you could see like the glee, like the you know, the joy like rising, and he's trying to hide it, trying to suppress it. It's like, don't get happy yet, don't get happy yet, but just
get ahead of yourself.
That's right, yeah, exactly. But it's like, oh my god, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it. You know, and you could see that like written all over him, and it was like and he obviously did pull out the win. It was a 4-0 win.
And Gunther's is no joke. I mean, Gunther's is a former Latvian, European, and Australian champion.
He loves it when you say that.
Yeah. He says, "I am still Latvian." What do you say? But yeah, he's a national champion in 2 countries, a continental champion, and also. Was untouchable here in Australia for many, many years, and was our AWE heavyweight champion, and defended his title against 6'5", 170 kilo Marcus Satirai, and of course competed against Australian champion Lachlan Carpenter in his first matchup with AWE at AWE 1. Oh no, sorry, Mario Tembakis.
It was,
Mario Tembakis. Yes,
that's right.
He was supposed Marcus to get, yes,
he was supposed to go against Lachlan, but Gunther's ended up having an injury. We had to reschedule it. Yeah, we've had a few of those. So yeah, exciting time. So 2023 for AWE was one where we tested our mettle as promoters. We had AWE 1 at the Nord Oval, and then went to Adelaide Oval for AWE 2. For those that have been following our journey would understand that then that whole contracts controversy emerged, and exclusive contracts became part of the arm wrestling landscape, which really did mean that we weren't able to attract some of those big names that we'd hoped to bring over to Australia for matchups against Australia's best, and meant that even some of the talent, some of Australia's best talent, was all of a sudden no longer available to us as well. And so we found ourselves turning our attention to India and establishing a great collaborative partnership with our friends at Pro Punja, who are doing amazing things for arm wrestling and doing amazing things for India and Indian arm wrestling. And those guys, of course, have got some outstanding talent, and that, of course, climaxed with the match between Ryan and Mazahir in November last year. And so much has happened in that last 12 months. So much is about to happen in the next 12 months, and I guess that all kicks off with AWE T Series 2 in Queensland. So we can announce the venue for those people that have been waiting for that. So we'll be at Harrisville. So is that locked in yet?
the Royal Hotel, which is one of the oldest licensed venues in Queensland. So this is Australia Day 2024. So a beautiful rural Queensland hotel, a real iconic location, which is something we're really excited about sharing with arm wrestling fans. And this is all going to be staged within their grounds. And so they've got 2 acres of rolling property there that leads into a creek at the back, and it's a fantastic spot to bring your picnic rug and enjoy with the whole family. It's going to be a fantastic day of activities there, not just with AWE, but of course they'll have so much else going on, really making it a destination for the whole southeast of Queensland, and anybody who wants to enjoy one of those traditional Australia days like we did when we were young fellas, mate.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And you can hear the passion in the owners of the hotel's voice, like when they're explaining what they want to do with Australia Day and how they want to bring the patriotism and just really make it a real celebration for the country. And for us to be a part of that would be absolutely amazing. So we're running the AWE T Series tournament there on the 26th of January, which is a Friday. it will be a public holiday in Australia. So.
Yeah, just for AWET series, I think.
That's right.
So
spoke to the governor.
So it's about an hour's drive from Brisbane and the Gold Coast. So it's just inland from both of those big population centres in the southeast of Queensland. So regardless of where you might be, you're not going to be much more than an hour away from the fun. So we invite arm wrestling fans from around the country and around the world to join us there for T Series 2 at Harrisville, the Royal Hotel, on the 26th of January. And maybe we should step through T Series. It's our tournament series. There are, in Queensland, there's going to be 3 weight categories, 80 kilos, 95 and 95 and over.
Yep.
And there's prize money attached. So the winner of each will receive $500.
So the breakdown is first place $300.
Oh, $300. So $500 prize money per division.
Per division.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
300 for first, 150 for second, $50 for third.
Fantastic. So over $3,000 in prizes, prize money that's available. And of course, every entrant also receives themselves a AWE T-shirt as adorned and modelled here before you right now.
It does do this. If you press this button, it does do that. It will guarantee.
Mine doesn't work.
Forgot to put the batteries in.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it did it.
Yeah, it's just slightly malfunctioning. So here we and to enter and to register, all you need to do is go to awearmwrestling.com, and all the registration details are right there.
Yep.
And make sure that you book your tickets and head to Queensland for the Australia Day long weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, and the fact that we've got $500 per division per arm as well. So it's not just right arm, it's left arm as well. So if you're a left arm specialist, you might be walking away with several $100s depending on what class you enter and how you go. And yeah, so each winner of the division, or the first place to second place, goes into the overall. So the overall also has a $500 prize pool as well. So yeah, there's lots of money up for grabs, and it was a real treat to give Brett Coots and Lachlan Carpenter their winnings on the day, and to hand over that money. Lachlan said, "This is the first money I've ever won in arm wrestling."
Oh,
I was like, wow.
First prize of many, no doubt. So,
yeah,
especially with AWE. So, really looking forward to seeing some of those familiar faces up there. Now, I know that we do have Brett Coots heading up. So, Brett is featuring in one of our super matches. That'll be in 2 of our super matches. So, left hand against Bowen Quintado.
Yes.
So that's going to be and Bowen, he's coming off some fine form at nationals, and really cemented himself as the man on left hand. So great to have Bowen back. So Bowen has featured in our AWE Underground series, which you can see on the YouTube page. So 6'5" Australian wood chopping champion, 22 years of age, and in that matchup that you'll see on AWE Underground, it's a right hand match that he has with Rickard Borman, and you can see it's very even, and Rick had just got the better of him in that matchup. But left hand is a different issue, and Ricky can't move him on left. There's something going on there, so it's something crazy going on there with his left, and so we've got Bowen back, which is super exciting, and up against Brett Coots, who obviously proved himself walking away with the prize money at AWET Series 1. So hunting down more prize money. So it should be exciting.
Oh, it should be amazing. Yeah. Brett coming back full swing into arm wrestling. I think the last couple of years he was sort of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and he was more focused on bodybuilding and that sort of thing, which you can see by his physique. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
But after the T series, he's like, I'm all in on arm wrestling again, and he's been putting up some training videos doing a lot of arm wrestling training in the gym, and he is fired up and ready to go for Jeez, the schmo. Thanks a lot, dude. Yeah, he's fired up for this match, and it will be actually very interesting because Bowen did take out the title, or the national title, for the left hand, and then you've got the legend in Brett Coots. Brett is probably,
it's like an old guard, new guard dynamic to this,
Yeah.
isn't there? So, does Bowen Quintado, with his height and length in the forearm and his natural abilities and youth, can he overcome the former master of left hand in Brett Coots?
That's right. It should be a very interesting match. And if I had to bet on it, I really would not know who to put my money on, which is what you want. It's the ideal situation where you're like, I felt the same way with Gunters and Ryan. I didn't know. I was leaning towards Gunters only because of his phenomenal performances that he had in AWE leading up to that. And I just wasn't sure. Like, I just didn't know. It's so hard to bet against. But obviously Ryan getting the victory. But yeah, so that's one of the super matches. The other super matches that will be taking place. Do you wanted to tell us about the other Brett match?
I don't know.
You don't know. It's Brett and Taryn.
Oh, Brett. Oh, yes. Yeah, of course. So on right hand.
Yes.
And I think it's just going to be hook match, though.
Oh, is it?
No.
Well, it'll probably end up there. It'll end up there.
So Taryn, so for those that are unfamiliar with Dankius Arm Wrestling, head over to the channel, give them a like on Dankius. You'll see some pretty quirky, interesting little arm wrestling videos over there. That is Taryn Broad, and you'll see Taryn Broad Arm Wrestler on Instagram is his handle. So Taryn is from South Australia. He is the only person currently ranked in the top 10 in Australia that is not a heavyweight or a super heavyweight. He kind of walks around at 80, 85 kilos thereabouts, can blow out a little bit, but can also come all the way down to 80 if he needs to. Has traditionally competed at 80. He's a younger guy, 25 years old thereabouts.
And he's 40.
It's 47 and looking great. And he's known to, he's been hunting down some super heavyweights over recent times. So he headed over to Sydney and walked away with the victory there.
Adam
Laura, super heavyweight, generally regarded as being a top 10 in the country. It has been for years. Competed at AWE 1 and walked away with the victory, which was quite the upset. Yeah. And Taryn's had a bit of a rivalry with young Sam Burnett over recent times, and now just feels like he's outgrown Sam, and feels like he's now kind of looking for bigger fish to fry, and walking away from that 80 kilo weight division, and is now looking for to hunt down the big guys. And for Taryn, Brett would be quite the coup. And for Brett, this is a dangerous return to right hand high-level competition, because Brett is still recovering. He's feeling his way back. His right quite isn't as strong as his left, and of course, there's a lot of prestige associated with Brett. There's a lot of history there, and for Taryn, that's going to be a big trophy to walk away with if he can come away with the victory. Both arm wrestlers stylistically like to get into a hook, so it could just end up that hook match, even though that's not really what it's not the rules, but it could just end up that way.
Absolutely.
So how do you see that one playing out?
Well, yeah, it's a big step up for Taryn. I think him beating Adam Laura was a real eye opener for me. I thought Adam was just going to easily win.
Steamroll.
It was like he's gone to Sydney and he's going to get crushed by Adam, but he won. Yeah, which really surprised me. But yeah, I
think Taryn saw something in the afterpull at AWE 1 that encouraged him to. So there was a bit of afterpull, and Taryn felt in a hook that he was equal, at least. So when heading over to take on Adam, I think he just felt like he if he could get into a hook with him, then he was more than half a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, his hook is ridiculously strong. Yeah, when he gets set in that position and he drives through, it's like good luck trying to stop it. It's very, very, very powerful. So it'd be interesting to see if Brett does want to go inside with him, or whether he'll be, playing that game of, well, I'm not going to give you what you want, because I think that's probably the area that if you're going to beat Taran, you don't go in a hook with him, and if you're able to keep his wrist straight, that's where we've seen Taran lose matches before. And we saw it, with Hamza Hodgic and in the tournament that we had here, the Titans Open a couple of years ago. And even though Taran ended up winning the match, it was a very long, drawn-out match where he was trying to get in that hook position, and Hamza was just keeping his wrist out of that locked position until he got exhausted. But the matches that I've seen Taran lose is because he wasn't able to get into that position. Yeah. So whether Brett is going to try to do that, and like, I'm just strong enough to top roll you, or I'm just strong enough to press through you, or if we're going to go hook to hook, it's going to be hard to beat Taran. He's bloody strong in that spot.
He's really strong. He's about 5'6", 5'7", 19+ inch biceps. He's not many people are built like him, but then you get Brett Coots and he's just built like that, but bigger. So
these like he's about to walk onto the Olympia stage.
Oh my goodness, he's a specimen, no doubt. The Drew is back in. Thank you very much, Drew. The Schmo. Thank you. It's always good to see the Schmo.
He's written a lovely comment there, which I'm not going to put up. But good to see you, Schmo.
So lots to look forward to. The AWE T Series 2 will be the second of what we hope will be many T Series as we roll through this part of the world, collecting more and more of Australia's arm wrestling talent, and putting a magnifying glass on some of that emerging talent that might not yet have been discovered outside of the clubs, and making sure that those athletes develop a profile within the arm wrestling world. We know that the biggest promoters in the world, their eyes are turned to what our athletes are doing. We've had some interesting developments over recent.
What could you be referring to?
Brett Coots he originally announced a matchup, not on the AWE page or Instagram. This was not announced by AWE, but Brett Coots made an announcement that he would be taking on Lachlan Adair. And unfortunately that for AWE, and unfortunate for Brett Coots, and unfortunately for Lachlan, Lachlan wasn't aware that that might put him out of a good stead with his friends there in Turkey, and so as a result, that match isn't going ahead, and but very fortunately we got Bowen Quintado, who was right there at the moment and is the man to beat. If national titles have got anything to go by, then he was super keen and excited. So we are going to have a spectacular matchup, but it's not the match that we originally had. And the rumor mill is that
the rumor on the snowmobile,
the all eyeballs were on Brett Coots's page, and when that announcement came up, that set alarm bells off in the halls of
the halls
of international arm wrestling.
Brett's actually on here at the moment. He said on Facebook, he said, "I won't be hiding from a good hook match. Power on power."
Well, we'll see who does have the horsepower in that situation. That's mean, it's I don't. It's Taran. I wonder what Taran's working away at. I wonder if Taran's looked at AWE T Series and seen that most recent video of Brett and has said, you know what, maybe a hook isn't my pathway to victory here. Maybe I've got to work on something else. And we have been seeing Taran working different movements in the gym than we've seen him work over the last couple of years. So he does look like he's working on his pronator. It does.
He's got a hook.
So this is super exciting. This has got us going. I'm interested in your thoughts, Brett, with respect to your matchup on left hand with Bowen Quintado as well. That'll be a sweet victory, of course, coming back from injury and from a bit of a layoff to come back and take on the national title holder and reclaim your position position at the top of the pecking order on left hand, Brett. So interested in your thoughts on that. And so for fans of arm wrestling, we can assure you that AWE, I think the passports are stamped and we're on our way. So you'll see us traveling the world a little bit more. Of course, last year took you guys to Delhi for that matchup, and I can't wait for the behind the scenes with respect to that matchup, because in hearing some of the drama in the lead up to it, there was plagued with issues, with visa issues, with you guys stepped on a plane with no authorized visa.
Should not have been able to go on that plane.
Should not have been allowed to.
It's a very big misdirection as I was handing my paperwork over.
So let the boy pass.
That's
I think
right.
might have been the.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
And so somehow I was able to leave the country, and then even more miraculously was allowed to enter, and all thanks to our friends there at Pro Puncher Pub in particular. I think might have been pulling some strings and doing what he could to make sure that everything went through nice and smoothly for you guys, and a spectacular meeting party.
It was amazing, yeah.
And really showed you the sights, and you guys got to see a whole lot of Delhi in that very short trip. There was a 4-hour taxi drive there, and somehow a 6-hour taxi drive back from the same location.
Somehow.
And of course competing yourself, you competed against a WAF world champion. Young Abbas, who's got the youngest beard in the world. The youngest man with the oldest beard in the world. I think his beard's about 35.
I think
he was like 12 when he competed.
He's growing into it.
Yes. So somehow he's 15 years old. Looks like he's 110 kilos with 20-inch arms, and he's got a beard that's thicker than yours and mine.
Yeah. So this is your opponent, Matt. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, specifically asked for somebody who's slow off the go as well, and their idea of what slow is maybe a little different to ours.
Explosive doesn't mean slow.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Matthew.
Oh, is that what you meant?
Mr. Hollywood, we thought you meant just joking.
Anyway, you were going against it. You're here now. Too bad.
Yep. But young Abbas, he was very accommodating. He let you have a go a little bit there. Let you work until he decided he'd had enough of that, and it was time to finish. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's great. He is an awesome guy. I just would have loved it if it was like a bit more competitive, Yeah. Just got destroyed.
I'm sure he would have liked that as well, but I
don't know.
He was pretty happy with the situation. Yeah. So, you were built up as an Australian arm wrestling champion as well.
The champion of Australia somehow.
How excited they would have been when their young guy came and smashed our national champion.
Talk about imposter syndrome. When I was walking in to that hall and they were playing drums and the crowd's going crazy and everyone's filming, and I'm walking behind Ryan Bowen, who is an Australian champion, and I'm like, hi, I also arm wrestle.
You were like waving to the crowd, the bleachers at the back there. Hey, I love you.
Wait till you see me get up on stage. You'll be shocked how fast I lose.
But just so much drama, so much going on. It was a really short trip for you guys as well, like 4 or so days.
4 days, I think.
4 days in total, and you're kind of there, and of course with everything that was going on in the background, aside from the arm wrestling, it was an amazing story. And then on top of that, you had your match with the Abbas, which was good fun, and of course we had the Intercontinental title for AWE decided for the first time outside of Australia, and Mazahir Saidu put on a massive performance, and for anybody that's ever competed in professional sports in India, you'll realize that there is such thing as a home ground advantage. India's engineer whether it's cricket and making sure that pitch is dead and as flat and as brown and lifeless as
pulling the lights out halfway in between,
or whether it's pulling the lights out when your national champion's absolutely exhausted, lying on the ground and can't go on any further.
Just give it a couple of minutes recovery.
Yeah. So do watch that on AWE Underground, that match, because you'll see there at the moment when the lights go out on the venue. What did you think when that happened?
I was annoyed. I was pissed off
because you knew Ryan had the gas tank. tank.
Yeah.
That was what he had on his side, and Mazahir
He
was
was wrecked.
breathing very,
He was
very
in
heavily,
the corner like this.
and with his army
Yeah. He was gone, and it was like, this is the last round. I said, you can hear me say it on the video, and I said to Ryan, he is absolutely wrecked.
Cooked.
And Ryan looked over and saw, and then got up straight away and went to the table because he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make him work here.
Yeah,
And they I think they'd slipped, and then they got strapped, and then there was like a pin for Mazahir, but it was an elbow foul.
yes.
And then
So everybody thought he won.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until it was an elbow foul, which it was.
Yeah.
But then they were strapped together, and obviously, if you've done another 2 pulls since being wrecked, and it was like, okay, Ryan should have this. Mazahir is breathing super heavy, and then it was like,
and it was super humid, really hot, air conditioning, nothing to speak of. It was just and there was about 600 people in the room as well.
It was probably like 800.
800, wow.
Yeah.
And so you got all of that body heat. It's already super hot. It's everything you expect India to be, and then
they're literally getting their hands closed to start the last possible round. Power goes out. Poof. It's like everything just goes dark. What? What's going on? I was like, what? Hang on a second. I'm like, oh no, this is bad. This is bad. This is going to give him a chance to recover. I was like, shit. And then, it's like, get the lights back on. And suddenly there was all these, within seconds, and I think you can see it on the footage, within seconds of the power going out, everyone had torches.
It's like a Coldplay concert.
So, and I'm not saying that anybody did it to the room. Not at all. They got it back on within, I don't know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
So somebody must have stepped on a cable somewhere or whatever.
Yeah.
But Pavin was not in the seat that he was a minute before.
The throne.
The throne was empty.
Yes. So he really is treated like royalty over there. They absolutely love Pavin, don't they?
He had a throne.
Yeah.
And I said, what's with the throne? And he said, well, I didn't ask for it. But I will sit in it.
So Brett's commented here. So I have never trained this hard for a match, and I'm coming in ready to beat the best. So no offense, but Bowen is just a stepping stone on his way to number 1.
Yeah.
So hard not to take offense to that, though.
I think it's fair.
You're a stepping stone.
Thank you.
You're nothing to me. You're a stepping stone.
I'm the journeyman. Well, I am.
So you're stepping stone for a bus.
I was. I was happy to be there.
Just on his way to the tuck shop on the other side.
Just on somebody's parked a Nissan in front of the chicken shop.
So Brett's definitely back. There's no doubting his dedication to the sport, and great to see that even with the niggles, and there was a minor injury that seemingly popped up through the T Series event with Lachlan, and of course an ongoing niggle with the pec, which kept Brett out from AWE 2, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but definitely back and feeling like he's back to his strongest. So this is exciting for arm wrestling around the world.
Exciting.
So
for Australian arm wrestling especially, because you look at who are the top guys in the sport in the last, say, 15 years, and Brett was always one of those guys,
always in the conversation.
That's right, absolutely. And then to see him now being fully committed, fully into it, and it's like, yes.
But and also at that time when now, like, say if you're a big name in Australian arm wrestling 5 years ago, well, there was not much you could leverage from. Nobody really cared. But now, if you're one of the top guys, you're getting international attention, as Brett's page is, obviously. Everybody, all eyes on Brett at the moment. Certainly the most influential figures in the world are keeping their eyes on athletes like Brett Coots. And so if you're not, you're missing out, because there's a reason why these people are keeping their eyes on athletes of the caliber of Brett Coots, because they are the guys. They are the guys.
Yeah, it's very exciting to think that there's a lot of guys like Doug Fatafihi and guys that have been in the scene for such a long period of time, and then they sort of they'd floated out a little bit. Maybe they hadn't been trained, they hadn't been competing as much, but being reinvigorated with the AWE, and it's like, oh, this is fun and exciting. These guys are really trying to push us and promote us and get the word out there and make arm wrestling a big thing in Australia. And we look at the OGs of arm wrestling in Australia. It's like, we want to have you come and compete with us.
Yeah.
Like, we love to have the best we can possibly get. Brett Coots is one of those.
Yeah.
If you can look at any of the videos that he's up on YouTube, and he's always been very, very competitive. So especially on left, I think left is his strongest arm. So he's done very well. So it'd be a very big mountain to climb for Bowen Contado, but I think when I offered him the match, and he was like, "Oh, this is going to be a big challenge." I said, "Man, if you're at the top," I said, "they're all going to be big challenges.
Yeah,
it's not going to be easy.
No,
give me matches.
No easy matches now.
Right.
That's for sure. So especially with that the caliber and the level of talent. Always kind of inching upwards, So what would have been enough to be the best 5 years ago is very definitely different to what it takes today.
Yes.
And so that makes the achievement of athletes like Brett all the greater, because you got these guys that are that have been the best and have taken that step up to stay at that level and to still be the men to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. It's so exciting to see that. People coming through the sport now, and you get somebody like Rickard Borman, who is a super athlete in rugby, and then stepping onto the arm wrestling table in his first night and being able to be competitive with Lachlan Adair and Ryan Bowen. It's like, how the hell, there's got to be these gems out there, these super freak athletes, that just haven't been discovered and haven't found that, I didn't know arm wrestling was a real thing.
Yeah.
And to have somebody like Rickard, who I think in his first year, was his first year?
Yeah,
last year,
first competitive year.
Yeah. So he's had matches against some of the top guys in the country and done phenomenally well. So.
Yeah, Bowen Contado, Mario Tembakis, just to name a few, and then has jumped into state championships as well and performed really well and taken out titles. Yeah. And so, I mean, what a huge, as a real breakthrough year for Rick Borman in the sport, and all kind of started with being discovered by Ryan Bowen and across the training table, and getting that phone call from Ryan saying, "Hey, this guy's something special. Wait till you see the video. This is nuts." And there's a bit of a backstory to all of that, which is probably not for us to release, but nonetheless, there's a bit of a backstory attached to how Ryan tested Rickard afterwards to see really where his level was, and after that, Ryan said, "This guy is something special. We got to get him on a table, on an AWE table." And Mario, to his credit, took on the match and really had more to lose. I mean, Mario has been the man to beat for several years, and has been traveling the world, testing himself against some of the biggest names, and even more recently, took off again to the US and I think it was Washington State, and performed brilliantly, and went on to compete at several other competitions, and always walking away with medals, and not afraid to put himself in a position where he could lose. And I don't think, maybe Mario's youth is such that, he doesn't have this fear about, maybe I could lose against this guy. It's always moving forward for Mario, because, that match could have potentially tripped his progress over, when you think about, well, who next? And maybe Rickard takes those opportunities after. But Mario, to his credit, fended off the rising Rickard Borman and said, well, I'm still the guy, and has set himself up for another future AWE matchup. I'm sure he'll be competing for a title sometime very, very soon.
Absolutely, yeah. Mario, a phenomenal arm wrestler, and has been for the last few years, as you said, the man to beat. And to see Rickard, in his first ever sort of big super match, or first proper super match, going up against him at AWE 1, and it did look. I mean, Mario is a veteran. He's got the experience in the setups, in the positions, and the movements. But since then, they have had some matchups in tournaments, which Rickard has walked away with a couple of victories against Mario there as well. So it just shows you how amazingly strong. Really is.
Mario will tell you that's it. He hadn't planned to compete. He'd been drinking all day, entered last minute.
He does that every time.
Yeah. So how was that different to your preparation for AWE 1 and 2? But we some really great rising stars coming through, and some of these fantastic veterans like Brett Coots throwing their hat in a ring, and of course some emerging superstars like Ricky Borman who've come out of nowhere, and some of that really high level talent like Mario Tambakis, who are floating around the world at the moment, just showing everybody that they're on the cusp of great things, and certainly their best years are still ahead. So these are really exciting times for Australian arm wrestling. And then when you throw into the mix a Bowen Quintado, or another just physical freak of a human being, somebody like that, it's wow.
It's
been a big 2023, and I think 2024 has got more in store.
Absolutely. One thing which a match that I'm really looking forward to, if hopefully we can get it set up and set properly, Ryan Scott, the Milkman versus Lachlan Carpenter, which we were planning for this event. Unfortunately, Ryan has an injury at the moment, so but that will be another big match to see.
The Milkman. He's been this mystical figure there on the west coast of Australia, and he's been one of the top guys in a very similar vein to Brett Coots. He's always been, whenever that conversation happens over beers about who's the top five, and the Milkman. Is always works his way into the mix. There was a really anticipated matchup during COVID between Lachlan Adair and Milkman.
Yes.
And of course, because of all the crazy COVID restrictions and everything that was going on, I think Lachlan literally jumped on the plane and halfway around that got sent back or something.
Yeah, he was there. He was in Perth.
He landed, which by the way is about a 4.5 hour, 5 hour flight, landed and then got turned around and sent back home. Somehow Ryan Bowen had slipped through a day or so before. It
was like, the day, if you came in on this day, you got to go back. If you came in the day later, you're going to stay. Be fine. So
Ryan just happened to slip through the net and ended up taking up that match against Ryan Scott and walked away with a surprise victory. And some people have contended that Ryan Scott's COVID, who was he training with? Ryan's obviously able to prepare against Lachlan and some of those big guys there in Queensland who are formidable training partners, and so maybe Ryan Scott didn't have the best preparation for that. But Ryan Bowen still likes to walk away with a win, and so we saw that. But that's kind of the last that we've seen of Ryan Scott.
He I think he's competed in the state tournaments that they've had there and taken them
obliterated everybody. But in terms of testing himself against a name brand that most of the arm wrestling world would know, I don't think we've really seen that opportunity for Ryan Scott over the last couple of years. So this is going to be the year that we see 2024 Ryan Scott re-emerge on the Australian arm wrestling scene, and going to walk straight into a matchup with Lachlan Carpenter, maybe.
Well, we hope. That's what we wanted.
Let's keep having us a toes crossed.
Absolutely. So, but it's like you just said, I mean, Ryan Scott, he's a veteran. I mean, he was ranked number 1 in Australia when he had the match with Ryan Bowen. But he's a phenomenal arm wrestler, and we'd love to have him on the AWE and competing and seeing more of him, because it's like the whole point of what we're doing is giving a platform and to be able to showcase the top talent in this part of the world.
I'd like to see the winner of that match go up against Ryan for one of those 2 belts he's now carrying.
Yeah, he's a champ now.
Yeah, he is a champ for those that aren't aware. He's the AWE heavyweight championship, which he picked up off of Gunther's. Yeah. And, of course, he got the Intercontinental Championship when the last belt's still sitting there in Ohio, from what I understand, with the 105 champ in the world. And, of course, we were left in that predicament of, okay, do we just abandon the belt and let the lineage stop there, or do we reinvent the belt? And we had a whole podcast all about that and our thinking around that. And we thought, let's redefine what this belt is, and let's find the highest caliber international match that we can, and get that put together, and we'll make that the new lineage. And so that was Ryan versus Mazahir and in India, and for the first time, that's the first time that the belt has been decided outside of our fair shores, and so Ryan returned with the belt, and then of course competed against Gunters and walked away with the heavyweight title, and so now that sets up a situation where you can see some of these top heavyweights thinking, you know what, I wouldn't mind one of those belts, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you
Ryan Scott certainly wouldn't mind a bit of vengeance there, would he?
That's right. Yeah, he wants to get the rematch from the COVID match. But yeah, it'd be phenomenal. And anytime that we can get those sort of matches put together, we're all over it. That's what we want to happen as much as possible. Worst part, bloody injuries this year, last year, have been
injuries and flights.
Oh man,
we've had almost as many flights.
Oh god, with
issues as what we've had
Artem,
injuries
with Artem Taranenko.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, he got here, but it took him 5 days.
A 5-day trip, was here for half a day and had to go back.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, I did.
There was nothing we could do. They kept cancelling the bloody flights.
Yeah.
He
was good about it.
It was 18 flights.
Far out.
Because he's like,
God bless Artem.
When we were packing up after AWE 2, and we were there till like 2 a.m., he was messaging me going, "Can you tell me my details of my flight?" And I'm like, I can't now. I've got to look at it when I get home. He's like, "Can't you just look it off on your phone?" I'm like, "You don't understand how many flights I've got to look at." And like, I sent him a video later when I did get home, like 4 or whatever, and it was like a scrolling through like just this long list of all this. I'm like, I don't know which one you're on. I got to figure it out. There's literally 18. I've got to like, which one are you on? So yeah, but we got there. He got home.
Yeah.
But man, that was But the injuries, I mean, even with the Lachlan and Gunters, that was going to happen, and Gunters getting injured. It's one of those sports that everyone seems to get injured.
Yeah,
quite often. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we put matches together, the best ones that we possibly can, and we hope that the athletes are able to stay healthy.
Yeah, and that Engen doesn't see them as hard to sabotage them.
Yeah.
So that's the other.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, for fans that have been tuning into our podcast previously and maybe found it difficult to find us, there's a couple of reasons for that. We did have the AWE page that had all of our AWE content. AWE channel, which had all of our AWE content on there, including the podcasts. And we took the executive decision to remove much of that content that was there that was perhaps inhibiting our channel's reach algorithmically, and that meant that the podcasts that obviously aren't as well watched as, say, some of these matchups that have got 40, 30, 50,000 people, 50,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of hired that out along with some of the matches from our previous events and rebranded that channel AWE Underground.
Mm-hmm.
And now we've got this page, which is where we're hosting all the, I guess, the other AWE content. So the stuff that mightn't necessarily get the same reach and the like. So that doesn't affect our ability to get our best matches out there to the biggest audience, but also gives us a place where we can do stuff like this, record some of our matches and tournaments that aren't necessarily produced in order to optimize the audience, for instance. So, but it's still cool AWE content. And if you want to keep in touch with what's going on, please subscribe, like. That certainly helps with the algorithm, and make sure that you tell your friends where to find us.
That's right. Absolutely. I mean, if you just type in AWE arm wrestling, you'll find all of that stuff everywhere. Yeah, the Underground channel is where you'll find the super matches, and then this channel is where you'll find the T series, tournament series, and the podcast. Then obviously we're streaming out to multiple platforms at the moment. But,
I think we're off on yours and a couple of others,
Facebook and
we're out there.
MySpace. I think we're big on MySpace.
I heard. Yes.
Did you have a MySpace page?
No, never got there. I didn't have I wasn't even on Facebook until maybe 7 years ago.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I tried to. If it wasn't for work, I probably still wouldn't be on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there you go.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? Do you have you seem to be quite good with Instagram.
Do I have a favorite platform?
Well, is there one that you prefer the style over the others?
No, not really. As tools for my for my business, I find that Facebook is where that audience is. With AWE, we get tremendous engagement and reach through our Instagram page, even though we don't have huge followership. I think we might have 11 or 1,200 followers, might be a little bit more, but something like that on Instagram. But we're consistently reaching hundreds of thousands of people a month with that. And of course, in large thanks to our collaboration with our friends at Pro Punja, and of course, Ryan's got tremendous reach. But also just in terms of a way for people to be able to reach out to us, as some people have more recently, it seems like Instagram's that place where people kind of reach out and have a bit of a chat and have that direct communication. And of course, if you are one of those people that's messaging us or commenting on something, it's normally me or Matt that'll be responding. So yeah, we're the guys on the other end of all of that, of course. So yeah, but it very much for AWE, I think Instagram's great, and of course for our matches, you know, the YouTube channel's the place. But yeah, I reckon I've done more learning on YouTube than I ever did at school. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So so in terms of where I spend most of my time, I would say probably YouTube in the evenings, trying to learn another language or learn how to build a shed.
Build a shed in another language.
Yes, I've tried that one. I tried to finish shed.
It's a German shed.
How about you?
Platforms wise, yeah. Well, I've been very heavily into PCs and computers and stuff for since I was a kid. So I've seen the rise and fall of lots of different platforms. ICQ was one of the first ones that was around, which was a messaging thing.
Yeah, right.
ICQ, which was ICQ. The little joke.
Yeah.
But that was
went over my head.
Yeah, well, but one of the issues that was on that was it was live. What you would type, the other person could see.
Yeah.
So they would see where you made mistakes and gone back, or if you wrote something and then you're like, oh no, I don't like that, and you delete it. It's like they've already seen it. It's live chat, which was kind of weird. Yeah, there was a lot of America Online and Yahoo, Excite chats, all the chat rooms and stuff that were back in the day. At this point in time, I think Facebook is trending older.
Very definitely skewed older.
I think once, because it seemed to be that
teenagers won't go on Facebook.
That's right. Yeah, or if they do, they'll only have their family and relatives and stuff on there, and then never post anything because they don't want them to see it.
Snapchat seems to be the place.
Yeah, there's so many of them now, and that's what's sort of a little frustrating. Because it's like, look me up and think, oh, what's on? Oh, it's on Snapchat. I don't have that, or it's on Telegram, or it's on Signal, or it's on this, and it's on that. It's like, can you not just use the So yeah, and it's funny with LinkedIn, like that I've always hated LinkedIn. And it's still around.
It's still around. It's awful.
How?
Yeah, for business, I've struggled a little bit with that. If you go on there, you'll see. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Of LinkedIn.
Not a fan.
It doesn't really do much for me.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't do much for like I'm not real business to business or whatever. I'm business to consumer in my money making business, and in arm wrestling, don't care. Don't care.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, it's interesting all of these tools that are available to you, and I guess these are just some of the considerations of those that are looking to or do as we do, have a promotion or whatever it might be. You've got to choose your platforms, and very fortunately, Ryan Bowen's very much across all of this and hyper aware as to what's going on in those spaces, and has been enjoying tremendous success recently on TikTok, where I think he 10 times his followership over recent times, just in a matter of months, and enjoying more engagement on Instagram than ever before, and monetizing YouTube and Facebook and doing all of those things. It's definitely that's the pathway forward for our sport. And as far as my estimations is, you might win some prize money here and there. You might be lucky enough to take out a AWET series or something like that. But the reality is that the money making for our athletes is doing things like Brett Coots is, posting their training videos, sharing their journey, making sure that the world's aware as to who they are, because all eyeballs are on social media, and that post of Brett's is best evidence of that. You put up a fairly innocuous post or talk about something, and the right set of eyeballs sees it, or wrong for us, but the right set of eyeballs might see it, and that opens the door to another opportunity that you never knew was going to be there. And we've experienced that just this week in terms of the outreach through social media and the people that we've been able to come in contact with there that are big, bright, shining stars in their own fields that also happen to have a passion in real estate. A passion in they might have a passion for real estate, but a passion for arm wrestling, and that's and for us that's tremendous.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like even with the Arm Gods guys and being able to reach out with them. You know, for them to know who we are.
That's what was always kind of weird is that if somebody comes to the club and they've never been there before, but they know everybody, it's like because they've seen the videos or they've watched, you know, a lot of stuff and it's like they want to give it a try and they walk in and they oh yeah, and they know your nicknames and what your match history is and stuff, and it's like, hello, like it's just it's really cool. But yeah, even just being able to reach out to somebody across the other side of the world that might be in a large promotion or something like that, and they actually know who you are. It's like, oh, that's incredible. Was it Adam Silver, who is the he's a good arm wrestler as well, but he does a lot of work with Ari Wheels' channel. And he popped up as, you know, somebody that you might know. And I sent him a request and he added and I sent him a message. And I think it was his birthday. So happy birthday, something or other. And he said, oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, no worries. I like what you're doing with AWE. I was like,
he knows I exist. Amazing.
It's incredible. It's just so cool. But none of that would happen if we weren't doing all of this sort of thing.
Absolutely. And on that front, we're doing all of this thing to bring awareness to Australia Day, which will be celebrated by AWE with AWE T Series 2. That will be held on Australia Day, which is the 26th of January. Now, there's no pay-per-views. The matchups will be released very shortly thereafter for those that can't make it in person, but there will be the opportunity for you to be there in person and to register and compete. And you can do that by heading over to awearmwrestling.com and register now. There's a cost associated with entry, but that also gets you an AWE competitor's shirt, which you'll wear on the day and have, and of course you can keep that. You can wear it after that as well. You can, it's yours.
It does do this.
Yes.
Well.
So we got the, you'll get an AWE shirt, you'll get entry and the opportunity to win, of course, $3,000 in prizes on the day. So each weight division, of course, will have its winner, and first, second, and third place all walking away with prize money at AWE T Series 2. So head over to the website now, www.awearmwrestling.com. Register if you're an athlete. If you want to be there but you're not competing, it is at the Royal Hotel. That's one of Queensland's oldest hotels at Harrisville in the southeast corner there of Queensland. It's about an hour or so away from Brisbane and the Gold Coast. Go inland a little bit and you will see it there. That's where AWE T Series 2 is happening on Australia Day. Any final thoughts, Hollywood Matt Connolly?
That should be exciting. Yeah, 26th of January, head down to the tournament. We'd love to see you there. And you can walk away with several $100s in your pocket and have an amazing experience. And you also get a T-shirt, regardless as to if you're coming along and you know that you're just going to get destroyed. You will still have a good time, and we'll have all the after pool stuff right there. And you know, if you walk up and just get flattened twice, it's like, well, at least you can jump on the after pool
tables.
And you'll have a fantastic experience for Australia Day, doing something that we love, and obviously if you're there and competing, that you love as well. So
yeah, and if you happen to have a mate that you think might be good at arm wrestling, or you know you've had a bit of a go on the practice table and you think this guy's got something, bring him along. We're all about uncovering Australia's next generation of arm wrestling talent, and we want to meet them, even if they're not ready to compete yet. We want to meet them. We want to get them on an after pool table. We want to feel what they're like and make sure that there's opportunities available for this rising talent as we travel around this big brown land of ours.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things.
and especially if you go with a friend and you've got, we always set up the after pool tables. So they're just there all day. So at any time somebody can jump on them, and we welcome that and love the fact that people can do that and people can warm up on it and whatever. But if you're there as a friend, and it's like, maybe you'd be intimidated, but then your mate's like, oh, why don't we just jump on the table and have a quick, it's like, okay, yeah, cool. And, and then somebody else might be like, oh, do you want to go with me?
And interesting things happen on the after pool table. Like, Taryn Broad and Adam Laura jumped on the after pool table after AWE won. That led to a match. Now Taryn's considered top 10, and now Taryn's got his big match with Brett Coots. And, would that have happened? Would that match up with Brett Coots for Taryn be happening if it wasn't for that little bit of that hook match, that after pool that took place at AWE 1 all the way back in February of last year?
That's right. No, it wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I thought Adam was going to win that comfortably. Taryn proved me wrong, and it's like, okay, now I've got to rethink like the top 10 and who are the top guys, and it's like, okay, well, let's see how you go with Brett Coots. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much to everybody that's been tuning in to the AWE Underground releases as they become available. Of course, the latest release is the AWE T-Series matchups with Ryan Bowen and, of course, Gunther's Bykovs for the unification of the two AWE heavyweight belts. So certainly jump onto there, but you'll also see all of the matchups from our AWE's Underground event in Brisbane back in October. Some fantastic matchups not to be missed there, and of course stay tuned to this channel for AWE T-Series releases and help us discover some of the best emerging arm wrestling talent in the country.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. So thank everybody for watching. This is Hollywood McConnelly with the double biceps.
There it is.
And we've got Dave Stockbridge, whose arm is bigger than mine, actually.
I don't know if it is anymore. I think
you still got it. Oh, very good. There we go. Look at that. It's always hidden under a suit, but you get to see it in the flesh today. Yeah, I actually have my arm. We're not in our 40s.
Well, thanks, guys, and we'll look forward to bringing you more next time.